You are now tuned in to the Addicted to Success.com podcast, where geniuses, entrepreneurs, and next-level game changers share their juicy little secrets on achieving massive success. This is the advice you wish you heard years ago. Be prepared and take note as we expose the realness and the raw of what it takes to be successful on Addicted to Success.com.
Now, before we get into this interview, I have an exclusive opportunity for you that I'd love to bring to your attention. And that is, I have just launched a 6 to 12 month mastermind called the Circle of Influence, where I'll be taking you under my wing to show you how to build a platform online that generates an income for you so that you can have more freedom in your life. I'm also going to show you how to become a powerful influencer online so that you can score interviews and so you can get exposure on major publications and platforms. And I'm going to even show you how to build these platforms yourself, such as a website, a podcast, a YouTube channel, and a social media following so that you can get your message out there to millions. I'm also going to show you how to network with other incredible leaders online so that you can interview them and so that you can collaborate with them, and really show you how to refine your story so you can share it in an unforgettable way to score more interviews, to score book deals, and to gain more speaking opportunities so that you can become a powerhouse leader. Now, if this speaks to you, make sure you head over to iamjoelbrown.com/apply and get in before I close my doors on this live, interactive, exclusive opportunity where I'm going to go deep with you and with the community of Circle of Influence Game Changers. Don't miss this. Now let's get into this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast. I'm your host, Joel Brown, and I'm here today bringing back the man of the hour, the legend, Alex Morton, who featured a good 3 years ago now on the Addicted to Success podcast. He's back and he is stronger and better than ever. Alex featured in Forbes, he featured in Rolling Stone, multi-millionaire, incredible entrepreneur that has been doing this ever since he was straight out of college. You guys call it college over there in the US. And he isn't stopping. Alex and I actually feature in a movie together called We Rise Up. And I've just seen Alex explode over the years all across social media and just really rocket on stages around the world. And Alex, I'm excited for you to share your wisdom with the Addicted to Success audience. So welcome to the Addicted to Success podcast.
Thank you very much, man. I just want to say I'm so proud of you and everything you've contributed, to not just millennials, but just to the entire world. You're definitely a world changer. So congrats back to you as well.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's been quite a journey for us both. And what I love seeing is you step into even more impact, even more of who you are as a leader, because I could always see that in there, but I can see you playing in it even more now and stepping into your potential. So tell me, what do you believe that you have learned, like just one big wisdom or nugget of advice that you believe really would help others based off what you've learned from when we last spoke 3 years ago to now? What has shifted in you?
The word that comes to my mind has to be humility, and it has to be staying humble. I was very fortunate and blessed to have had a lot of success. When we first last spoke, that was right about the time where I made my first $1 million. And I was same person, but also different person. There was definitely more of an arrogant tone to my life. And I really believe that all the success and all the money that was coming into my life really was, just a result of me. And I really, it wasn't that I wasn't, humble at all, but I was definitely not as humble as I should have been. And really what's happened in the last, since we spoke was I was kind of like all the way up, and then I went crashing all the way down. And now by the grace of God, I'm back on top. So humility is so important for everybody. So important.
Love that, brother. And when you said you crashed all the way down and now you're on top, could you really just break that down for us real quick? Because I think sometimes people see the glory, but they don't see the story. They see you crushing it out there. But really, I believe that our lessons in life come from our biggest breakdowns that then become our biggest breakthroughs for us. And so that's where the juice is. So share with us what happened and how you broke through it.
Yeah, so I got involved in entrepreneurship and a certain style of marketing at 21 years old. And through hard work and just, really getting after it, I was able to become the youngest, and the fastest person ever in that company to make, $1 million. And you would assume at 23, 24, you're making 50, 60, $80,000 a month. You are on top, you're traveling the world, you're having fun. And when I say I crashed all the way to the bottom, that was all basically taken away from me. Some things happened, some things that were out of my control, some things that I just, made mistakes on. And out of that first $1.5 million I earned, I lost lost almost all of it. So I went from all the way on top to living in, a little apartment. I was 30 pounds heavier, 40 pounds heavier than I am. I was unhappy. And you're right. Your character gets tested. It's easy to be a leader when you're on top. It's easy to, sound your trumpet, when you're number one. But how are you going to respond and react when you're on the bottom and the money isn't coming in and you feel a little bit, down? Those are the moments that really mold our character, and how we're going to really respond for the rest of our lives, personal and business. When you get broken, you have to figure out how to make a breakthrough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Now, this is what I believe that a lot of successful people that I interview have really narrowed down on and have a really good understanding of. And what it is it's this self-awareness, right? They're very connected with themselves. They can't move with power if they don't have a connection to themselves, and then to be able to share that connection with others. So to be able to have a connection with yourself, you need to understand yourself well. And I'm going to challenge you here, Alex. I know you like challenges. What I find is that really highly successful people have a very strong belief system about what they're capable of. So if you could list to us, just off the top of your head, 5 things that you believe about yourself for sure, just in dot point form. I believe I am, so that people can understand how your mind works.
Yeah. Number 1, I believe I am powerful. I believe that I am capable of making any dream become a reality. I am great. I've embodied greatness to the highest of, the highest of levels. I believe that I am here to help and serve as many people as possible and impact their lives so they also can chase their goals and dreams. And I got to say, I'm love. I love to operate out of this mindset and idea that love is the most powerful, emotion. So whether it's business, whether it's meeting, strangers in the hotel lobby, whether it's the guy that brings up our bags over here at the Amsterdam hotel, everything's got to come from a place of love, because with love, no fear, doubt, worry, or anxiety or negativity can even exist.
Powerful stuff. I love it. And that was easy. And just notice, guys, that was easy for Alex, because he's in the practice of it. And, a lot of people, what they do is they go for perfect, but perfect doesn't cut it. It's progress, it's practice. Right. And, just being even more connected with who you are is going to get you miles and miles ahead of who you used to be. Right. So that's the key right there. And I love that you shared that, Alex. Thank you so much. Alex, what are your daily habits? What are your daily routines that you have in place that keep you in an empowered state?
Yeah, well, something that I've learned along the way, I tell people I've been an entrepreneur for 28 and almost 29 years since I came out of my mom. However, I've been like a professional entrepreneur, producing enough income to have freedom, almost for the last 8.5 years now. And what I can tell you is, your DMOs, right, your daily method of operation. And it really starts right when I wake up in the morning. My mentor and coach, Bob Proctor, who we all know, and respect and admire, he told me, hey, when you wake up in the morning, don't just grab your cell phone. Don't just grab your cell phone and start scrolling on Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook, because a lot of that stuff is negativity. And in the first 30 minutes when we awake, when we rise up, right, our subconscious mind is the most impressionable all day. So he said, when you get up, you should pray, whether it's to God or Adonai or Allah or Jesus or the universe, right? It's all the same source. And he said, you have to be grateful. So he said, think of 5 to 10 things you're grateful for, whether it could be as small as a warm blanket. It could be as large as the love you have for your mom and dad. And he said, sit there in prayer and sit there in gratitude for at least 5 to 10 minutes, and then send 2 people you have problems with love, spiritually. So a lot of people like to fight negativity with negativity. If you have a problem with somebody, just send them love. Be grateful for that person. So I do that. After that, I try to do something where I get moving, exercise. Obviously, I was 217 pounds and super not healthy. And now I'm like 100 and maybe 83 pounds. So I went through a little transformation there. One day I looked in the mirror. I was like, you can't be telling people to go achieve greatness when, you look like a nightmare, right? So I did, get moving, work out. I try to eat healthy, and then I get to it, whether it's emails, it's calling people back, it's answering, direct messages. And most of the time, I travel full time. I had a condo, and I got out of that in Florida. I bought my dream car, and it sits in my mom's garage, my dad's garage in Las Vegas. She drives it to Whole Foods. I'm traveling full time. So every day, for the most part, I'm doing some type of meetup to where I'm training on the spiritual laws of success, and I'm doing opportunity events and presentations for, the company I'm associated with, where I'm the executive vice president. So the daily habits is you got to be productive. You've got to be effective. You got to be consistent every day with what you do.
Yes, I love it. The consistency, that's the important part for sure, on top of all that. And, this is how you create a habit, right? To solidify it in your system, to solidify it in your mind, so you move with power. And you move so powerfully, man. I love the way that you speak. You have this electric energy about you. You have this charisma that draws people to you. And I think that, a lot of people, they want that empowerment in their life, but they're not willing to do the work or even try and stay consistent. They try it once and then they give up. Right.
You got to stay consistent. You got to stay consistent. And it's like people like the Joel Browns, of the world, and the Gary V's and all these amazing people. It's years and years and years of practice and creating these habits to create, a great outcome and result.
Absolutely. It's the refining of the process. And I don't know if you can attest to this, but sometimes you slip out of it too. Right? You slip out of it, and then you're like, oh crap, I know. And I think you've got to remember how it felt when you were crushing it, because all you need to do real quick is to look in at what are my structures that I have in place? What is my environment right now? I know you move around a lot. So how do you manage your environment? Are there any non-negotiable things that you have where you're like, I need this in place, otherwise I can't be creative or productive?
Yeah, well, for one, our travel agent, like our team travel agent, he knows that any hotel we're at needs to have a 24-hour room service, so I can get like eggs and avocado whenever I want. And number 2, there's got to be at least a halfway decent gym. But more serious, the environment's it's everything. And when you're moving so fast, right now I'm in Amsterdam. Tomorrow we're in Kosovo. The next day we're in Barcelona, and then it's Poland, then it's Germany, then it's Paris, France, then it's 2 cities in Belgium. So, when I wake up in the morning, I got to ask Siri on my phone where I am. And sometimes it's tough to stay disciplined and focused when every night the bed feels a little bit different. The weather, the climate changes. You're landing sometimes at 1 a.m. and you're up till, 4 or 5 in the morning, and the jet lag and the time zones. But if you just know the certain things you need in your environment. Like I know I've got to have, a book near me, right? I got Think and Grow Rich upstairs. I got to read every day. I've got to listen to audios every single day. I need to talk to my parents, or at least one of them, every single day, because when you're just going and going and going at 1,000,000 miles per hour, sometimes you can, lose focus on really what's important. And that's really maintaining relationships and just keeping inner peace. One of the things that I've learned since we last spoke was this whole idea of just inner peace and being just calm sometimes, and just really reflecting and being grateful for everything happening in your life.
Love this, brother. Love it. Alex, another thing that highly successful people have is they have a good set of skills, right? They have a great toolkit. Now, what do you believe are certain skills that you have that you go to, whether they're 3 to 5 skills that you believe has helped you to get to the place that you're at, rocking stages in front of tens of thousands of people, traveling the world, building business, managing millions of dollars, serving at the highest level? What are some skills that you have acquired?
I think the most important skills are really people skills. You know, I never did that well in school. I did okay. You know, I did graduate from college. I went to Arizona State, which, you know, I'm proud of and all of that. But I think the biggest skills that I have, or I guess I've developed over time, number one is getting people to believe in themselves. And everybody needs somebody to believe in them. I don't care if it's Kevin Hart, Drake, Beyonce. At some point in their careers and life, someone said, hey, you can do it. And I had that happen to me several times at a very young age, starting with, you know, my parents, and then obviously people like Bob Proctor and some of the first people I worked with in my industry. But I am good at getting somebody else to believe they're capable of accomplishing more. And I think that's one of my, I don't want to say if it's an anointing on my life or something, but I know that I've been blessed with a gift to help other people believe in themselves. So I think number one, getting other people to believe they're capable of accomplishing, you know, an elite lifestyle or a world-class mindset or impact, something like that. And I believe, you know, communication skills. I took an acting class in college, and I liked it. And I said, man, I like to not even perform, but I like speaking. And I've always been infatuated with, you know, the people like Tony Robbins of the world and getting people to jump up and down and go crazy. And it's nuts because the videos I used to watch, you know, 5-6 years ago, now I'm the one on stage getting people to, you know, run through walls and break through barriers. So communication skills, you know, I believe that we're all born with different gifts. I was talking to our creative team at breakfast. I said, Matt, you have certain gifts. Dar, you have certain gifts. I have certain, everyone's got gifts. And it's just really becoming self-aware enough to know what you have and then figuring out ways to share it with the world.
Dude, 3 incredible skills. And I love that you shared that. And the reason why I get you to share this too is because there must be, you know, some people listening to this. I don't expect everyone to, but there's a good percentage of people listening to this that are inspired by what you do. And they're like, man, what do I need to acquire in my life to be able to make it happen? And I love that you broke down your beliefs, your habits, and then your skills. This is great. Now, another dimension that I believe is really important when it comes to success is vision. So tell me, man, how did you take hold of your vision? I know you had a vision. There's no way you've been able to achieve a massive level of success without holding a vision in your mind that you see before it even becomes a reality. So what's your process around stepping into your vision?
Yeah, I mean, it all started when I was it started when I was very young, but I remember 16 years old. I talk about this in my book. At 16 years old, I watched Entourage on HBO with like my 6 best friends from high school. We're 16, and everyone in the room was like, man, that'd be so cool to travel the world and, you know, party with, you know, celebrities and stay in 5-star resorts and drive nice cars. And, you know, back then it was all about material stuff because when you're broke, you think about material stuff. And I was the only one in the room, and I said, you know what, from this point forward, I got to figure out how I actually can live this lifestyle. So the vision and the imagination started at a very young age. And, you know, one of the things that I teach is how to internalize what we want. And you got to burn the image that you want to create in the physical. You have to burn it on your mind in the spirit first. So I've had this vision of myself for the last, 10, 12 years, and everything that I've thought about and I've fallen in love with for years and years and years has all come to fruition. And it's not like The Secret, I believe in The Secret, but you can't just sit there and just think about it and all of a sudden money's going to come out of the sky. You got to put work, you got to put the work in, and you have to do what's necessary to get to where you want to go. However, you got to get into with that imagination. So now at 28, I'm 29 on Saturday. It's crazy. Now I'm thinking about 30, 35. Where do I see myself? Where do I want to be? What type of level do I want to play at, in 8 to 10 years down the road? So for all the listeners, on this Addicted to Success podcast, what do you want? Think about it, write it down, and really get it in your imagination and see yourself as the person you want to become. And you will become that person as long as you operate the way you need to operate every single day.
Damn, that is solid. I love it, man. Having that 10-year vision, that's amazing. So, Alex, let's keep this real, right? Let's keep it raw and real.
Always,
myself, everyone, of course, man. That's why I'm going there with you. Everyone has this like a common concern that shows up. They have this limiting belief, this story that runs in their head that holds them back sometimes. What do you believe is one that still, even at the level of success you've achieved, comes up and it's like something you have to keep paying attention to, that you're like, I need to work through this. I'm gonna empower myself to move through this.
I mean, even at the level that I'm at today, and obviously it's a level that a lot of people would be, satisfied with. And I say that very, humbly, but I don't just judge it off of just numbers anymore, or how many M's are in a bank account. But one of the things that I still, we all struggle still. It's like really believing it's possible for me, this 5'9", half Armenian, half Jewish kid from Bexley, Ohio, to one day reach the level of success, maybe as you would say, the Tony Robbins or the mentor of me, Bob Proctor. Obviously we see people like Gary Vaynerchuk now doing just incredible things. And it's just really believing at that highest level, because I've believed enough to get me here. And I know where I am at this point in my life, but now it's getting to the next level. Instead of impacting maybe 1 million people globally, it's impacting 100 million people globally. So it's important, you just mentioned, that people really understand, even the people that you aspire to be like, they still struggle. They still have to fight these demons of limiting beliefs every single day. There's a super famous DJ downstairs. His name's Gian Lucci. He's the guy on Instagram. He's got like 12 million followers. And even somebody like him that is so big and he's worth $100 million, all this stuff, that guy even still deals with, limiting beliefs. We all do it, but we have to keep fighting and charging towards, the life we want.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. One that I often notice show up for me is I don't have enough. And that's like, I've got to get more. And sometimes what happens is we burn ourselves out, right? And you got to be careful of slipping into desperation, which is I desperately need this, rather than inspiration of how can I create this, because this is actually going to be an incredible thing for my life and for others. So thank you for keeping it real. Appreciate it.
Always.
That's awesome.
I'm always going to tell the truth.
Yes. Amazing. So Alex, your book, let's talk a little bit about that. Let's jump into one of the biggest takeaways that you would, like, if someone could just open up a page and take one thing from your book, from dorm room to millionaire, what would that be?
I would just say getting inspired. In the book, I wrote it a few years back, and I'm really just sharing stories of people that I've personally, worked with and mentored to lifestyle changing, incomes, and they all have different backgrounds and stories. So I just think the whole book, yes, it gives you skill sets on how to build a business and setting big goals. That would be a big takeaway. If your goal isn't scaring you, it's not big enough. And if you already know how to accomplish your goal, it's also not big enough, because what they say is all you have to do is you have to know. You don't have to know how. Like, I know 2019, the goals I have, I don't know how all of them are actually going to even happen, but I know they're going to happen. So I think one of the biggest takeaways would be to set audacious, scary goals. And if you know exactly every little thing you need to do to accomplish that goal, you got to create a larger goal, because remember, you will attract the people, opportunities, situations you need to turn your goals into a result.
Love this, brother. And I like that you said, that you have quite a few examples in there. And I think that people that are listening right now may be in a different space to you from where you started. They could have gone from rock bottom, right? Like in the ghetto, like, right in the trenches, or they could have been living with a silver spoon in their mouth. And so we can't all just follow the one person, but I really love that you've shared many different elements here that we're able to take, lessons from and apply to our life. Now, before we wrap up this interview, I would love to ask you, do you have an actionable thing that the listeners can take heed to and really write down today? If they had a notepad and a pen and they were to write something down, where would you get them to start? What would that exercise be that they can do right now?
Yeah, so the exercise that we use every event that we do, we did it last night over here in Amsterdam. We'll do it tomorrow in Pristina, Kosovo. I've never been there before, but I'm excited to go to Kosovo tomorrow. Is you take a piece of paper, you get a pen out, and you write down, I am so happy and grateful now that. Okay. So you write down, I am so happy and grateful now that I am. And you write that and you're speaking something into present tense, right? So we all know our words have so much meaning. That's why if you don't feel good, you never want to say, I don't feel good, or I am sick, or I am broke. Obviously you're broke because you're saying I am broke. So what you want to do is, regardless, like you said, and I've worked with people that just got out of prison, or the ghetto, or they were, big drug dealers, or they're a single mom at, 19 and they got to figure it out, or they're homeless. I mean, I've worked with people, and I've also worked with people that their daddy's worth $100 million in Miami, Florida. So I've worked with people from all walks of life. But you want to write down, I am so happy and grateful now that I am, and write down your goal. Write down your goal. One of the goals that we wrote down about a year and a half ago was because it was a company goal. We are so happy and grateful now that we have 100 people earning $10,000 a month or more in our business around the world. And at the time, there was one. About 18 months later, we had 100 and I believe 18 people at 10K a month or more in our company. So you want to write down, I am so happy and grateful now that I am, because you always want to be grateful, number one. And number two, write down your goal and then put a deadline on it. Write a deadline. I am so happy and grateful now that I am earning $10,000 a month, $1 million a month by December 31st, 2018. And you can apply this not just with money goals. You can apply this with health, fitness, relationships, love, whatever you want. But when you write down your goal and you read it in the present tense, you are now being that person. You are now speaking as if, you already have the good that you desire. So that's just one little exercise people can do in 5 minutes. And what you want to do is you want to carry that with you everywhere you go, and you want to read it as many times as possible until it's burned up here. And then it's just going to be automatic. You're going to think about it, all day, every day. And whatever we think about comes about most of the time.
Yes, I agree. Your words become your worlds, right? So true. So true. Thanks for that exercise. So if you're listening right now, take action on this. If you need to pause it or rewind it, do that, because we know that the key to success is taking massive action, right? Yeah. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. I remember this quote that I saw in New York on a billboard. It shook me to the core. It said, yesterday you said tomorrow. Wow. Right? Wow. And I was like, damn, that procrastination thing is so big for people. This is one big thing they struggle with so often. And so when you hear this, and if you know, and this is so valuable, take the action on it, write it down, and make sure you apply it to your life. Okay?
Yes, 100%.
Alex, thanks for sharing.
100%.
Alex, where can we find you online?
So Facebook is Alex Morton, okay? And then, the brand that I've built kind of on the back burner of all these entrepreneurial ventures that I've, done, and the results and the sales and the building of people making serious incomes and all of that, is Alex Morton Mindset. So Instagram is Alex Morton Mindset, YouTube, Alex Morton Mindset. And we're working on a lot of stuff in the background right now that we're going to be releasing, where it's all going to be free content, and it's going to just be helping everybody elevate their lives, whether you're in real estate, whether you're selling cars, whether you're a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer. It really doesn't matter, because information can change your situation no matter what that situation is. So just excited about the future and connecting with as many people as possible.
Oh, amazing. Amazing stuff. Alex, one question I want to get in that the Addicted to Success community has been asking over and over again is they want to know how you can get into a space of creativity, and what is the sequence, or what are the steps that you go through when you come up with the idea, right? And then you get in front of a camera and you share it. I know that you share quite a lot of motivational videos and life lessons, and you've got a pretty awesome creative team there that cut up some pretty awesome edits with your videos. So what advice would you share? Because I know a lot of people now are going digital. A lot of people are aspiring to become influencers online and sharing the knowledge and teaching others. So what would you share?
I would say, to get in a creative state, maybe begin with the end in mind. Meaning, before we go shoot content, or I get in front of a room of 10 people or 10,000 people, I always think, hey, what do I want them to leave with? Because you don't speak and train and all these things for yourself. You do it to help other people. I'm at a point in my career where even this podcast, this isn't for me. It's for, hey, I've got this stuff up here that's helped me get to where I am, and I just want to share it with people. Your podcast that you've been running for years, you don't do it for your health. You do it to impact millions and millions of people. So I would say, find out what message you want the audience to leave with, the value you want to give them, and then try to maybe figure out a creative way. Sometimes it's just a simple point and shoot message. A lot of my stuff, they've been selfie videos over the years. So really think about your message, the value you want to give. And the biggest tip I can give people is that just be real. You know, with me, the people that have been watching me for, a day, a week, a month, or, the last 8.5 years, they know that I'm always going to keep it real and tell the truth. And sometimes stuff that comes out of my mouth can be deemed offensive, but it's the truth. And we all know the truth will always set you free in the end. So to be creative, just be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else, and just share what's on your heart, share what's on your mind. And, just understand that it has the ability to impact the person on the other end.
Amen, brother. Amen. Thank you for instilling your wisdom in us. I love this. Alex, we're approaching the end of this interview, and I always end every interview with this last question.
Okay.
And the question is, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what would that last 30 seconds sound like? Your parting advice.
Wow. I would probably say something like, anything is possible, and just understand that you have the capability and the power and the greatness that lies deep within you right now. You don't need anything else from the outside. You need to become self-aware of the gifts and the skills and the talents and the love that you already have, and you got to get to work. Nothing's ever going to come to somebody that sits on their butt every single day. Find out what you want in life. Write down your goals, write down your dreams, go out there and find mentors and just work until it gets done. And then once you get to the top, once you attract the life that you desire, then I want everybody to spend the rest of their life sharing how they did it, so then other people can also have the fortunate blessing to live their life and their dreams. Because I believe true success is succession, meaning how many people have you also helped across the finish line. And that's what it is. Dream big, believe big, and work hard, and you will get everything that you want. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. And just go out there and care about people, care about the world, and everything is yours. Simple as that.